It is my pleasure to introduce our graduation speaker, Governor Henry McMaster. While we understand that the unpredictability of the weather is out of our control, we are truly grateful that you are willing to work with us to be here today. We are thankful for being able to have this ceremony under these difficult and unprecedented times, and that you are honoring us with being our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome our Governor, Henry McMaster.
Thank you, Ella Kitchens. One thing for sure, it's not raining today. This is really very interesting. I was looking at y'all as you walked in. This is a good-looking group, and it reminds me how proud I am of South Carolina. And you're in the right place in the whole world. There's no place better. It's hot, so I'm gonna be brief. And I'm gonna sing a song at the end of this. I haven't done that before one of these, but I'm gonna do it for you. I think you'll enjoy it. But I want to thank you for the invitation to the home of the West Florence Knights. Florence is not a stranger to me. My parents were both born in Florence. Daddy on Dorgan Street, Mom on Cherokee Road. That's their home. They made their home in Columbia, and that's where I and my 5 brothers grew up. That's still home to us. We don't live in that house anymore. But this is a great school. You've received a great education despite the coronavirus. And I know you have great futures looking ahead of you. And we wish you luck, wish you success. I'd like to tell you briefly some of the things I've learned over the years, and that's why I'm here. I'm here because you invited me, and I thank you. Dr. O'Malley, I appreciate it. Mr. Matthew Didell, all of you, thank you for the invitation. I want you to continue your education in some form. You can never learn too much. Everything you learn is a basis for learning about 100 more things. So the more you learn, the more you'll appreciate this place and the farther you can go towards your goals and ambitions. Continue your education in the military perhaps, or maybe a 2 or 4-year college, including our world famous, world best technical college system, and maybe graduate studies after that. But I would urge you to continue your education and never underestimate yourself. Always be proud of South Carolina. I need to tell you that as governor, I meet with a lot of people from around the world, and they're looking to invest millions, hundreds of millions, or billions of dollars someplace in the world where it'll be safe, where it'll be productive. And I'm speaking of these big companies, plants, as well as people who are already in this state. And the reason that they come here to South Carolina, they've told me, they said it's because of the people, the people, the people. They say South Carolina is a handshake state. When someone from South Carolina gives you their word, they keep it. The people of South Carolina, for whatever reasons, are smart, industrial, trustworthy, loyal, and they'll do what they say they're gonna do. We have a great military tradition in our state that goes back to the beginning. We have 8 military bases now, and a new Coast Guard headquarters is coming to Charleston. That'll make 9. We also have a great tradition of faith, religious faith in our state, and we're living in paradise. When the kings and the queens were sending the explorers around the world to find a place to go to make money, they were sending them all over, and all of those were going back and saying that this place that we call South Carolina has the most potential, is the most prosperous, is the most beautiful in all of the New World. So here we are. We came from different places in different conditions. We have those great traditions, and we're actually living in paradise. So we are the lucky ones in the world, and we need to take advantage of all the gifts that have been given to us. Never underestimate yourself. Always be proud of South Carolina. Mark Clark, the general in World War II, later president of the Citadel, said South Carolina is the most patriotic place in the whole world. And patriotism translates into loyalty, to determination, to discipline, and you have that. That is something that's been given to you. Here's some thoughts I want to leave with you, and I will be brief, from some people who've seen a lot. They're older than you, some of them older than I am, but it's interesting to see what some of these thinkers thought as they went along through their journey through life. Ben Franklin said, "We are all born ignorant, but we must work very hard to remain stupid. An anonymous person said most people spend more time planning a picnic than they do their own lives. Is that you? I don't think so. Another said we should keep our words soft and tender because tomorrow we might have to eat them. Another said a smile is an inexpensive way to improve your looks. Reba McEntire sang in a song, I think in 1992, "He never said he loved me. I guess he thought I knew." Don't let that be you. The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. And here's a question. Is someone bothering you? Are there people that get on your nerves? Shakespeare in England, who lived between 1564 and 1616, and people still read his plays today all over the world, said, "The empty vessel makes the loudest noise." That tells us a lot. He also said, "Though she be but little, she is fierce." Great words to contemplate. Mahatma Gandhi, when asked about the cultures of the world and what he thought of Western civilization, said, quote, "I think it would be a good idea." Here's a question. Do you know those who may carry a grudge? Confucius said, if you devote your life to seeking revenge, first dig 2 graves. Are you scared of failure? Are you scared of stepping out to try something new? Thomas Edison, the man who invented the electric light, among other things, said, quote, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that don't work." Here's one from the vice chairman of the Federal Communication back in 1963. Television was really getting started then. It was all over the place, and he said, looking at the program, he said, "You watch the programs on TV for one day, and you'll realize that television is a vast wasteland." If he could only see it now. Another observation, most of us are more particular about what we put on our hamburgers than what we put into our brains watching television at night. Here's just a couple more. These are words to live by. World champion boxer Muhammad Ali said, when asked by a young fella if he had ever been knocked down, the champ said, "Son, I've never been knocked down. I'm either up or getting up." And remember, as someone said, life becomes easier when you accept that apology that you never got. And finally, I'll tell you this, I'd rather aim high and fail than aim low and succeed. The only shame is low aim. Again, my hearty congratulations to you on your graduation. This day signifies that you have successfully navigated the near shipwrecks of teenage life and arrived upon the shores of young adulthood. Here, life will teach you the nearness of catastrophe, but also the value of loyalty, integrity, kindness, and generosity, and the necessity of happiness, faith, and joy in music. I urge you to make your decisions wisely, and remember that success is not measured by titles, money, or piles of possessions and stuff, which one day you'll wonder why you even bought it in the first place. As your years go by, they may carry you away, but not your memories. Your memories will always carry you back here to your school, to this place, to home, to places of smiles, sunshine, tears, family, friendships cherished still and some gone, calm, happiness, and innocence. Finally, here's a story to wrap this up. When I was your age, I bought a guitar. It's a 6-string Gibson, a lovely instrument. I still have it. I play it every now and then. Every time I pick it up, it takes me all the way back, all the way home. When I was 1 year older than you, after my first year in college, a good friend and I, a buddy, borrowed his mother's car and decided to take a trip out west, cross country. My daddy put seat belts in the car. They weren't automatic then. You had to get them extra. Put them in there to keep us safe, and we took off all the way across the country. We saw deserts, plains. We saw roads in Kansas and those plain states. It looked like they were perfectly straight for 10 miles, no trees. We also saw huge mountains, green valleys. It was quite a trip. We went out, it lasted a month after our summer jobs. We mostly slept in the car. One time in Seattle, we came in late and woke up. We parked in a parking lot. Woke up in the car and looked out, and there was a sign on the building that said that the Beatles were singing tonight in Seattle, Washington. This was in 1967. Ladies and gentlemen, I have never experienced such excitement, sound, and masses of people as I did then, except on 2 other occasions. One was at a KISS concert, and the others at Trump political rallies. I love music because that's where most of the poetry seems to be these days. Music soothes, it inspires, it takes you home. And if you know where your home is, where your memories are, and where your dreams began, you'll never go wrong. Paul McCartney is one of the Beatles, one of the 4, and I heard him sing on that day in 1967, and just a few years ago in Columbia in concert. He wrote a song in 1977 that speaks to what I have been saying today. It is about a place called the Mull of Kintyre, K-E-N-T-Y-R-E. A mull is a hill in Scotland. That's the word, it's a hill, a bluff that overlooks the ocean or water, body of water. And it's the name Kintyre is just a place name like Florence or Richland or Charleston or some other county. His farm has been there since 1966. It's on the southwest tip of Scotland, overlooking the North Channel in Ireland. The song was inspired by that place and by his wife Linda. And you can watch the video if you want to. My Mull of Kintyre is the banks of the Salt Creek at Pawleys Island and our home place in Columbia. Yours may be on a bluff on the PD on a sandy marsh island, or at school at West Florence High, or this day, or an animal, or people that you love or have loved. The song was written in 1977, but the thoughts and quotes I recited earlier are like it. They were written for you today. And now I'll turn it on. Working? I know you've never seen this before. All right. Where's my pick? It's always something. This is a short song. That's Cody, he grew up in Florence. That's Madison Hall, raise your hand. Madison went to school here. She worked, both of them working on my staff. All right, y'all. Can you hear that? Oh, Mull of Kintyre, oh, mist rolling in from the sea. My desire is always to be here, Mull of Kintyre. Oh, have I traveled and much have I seen. Dark is the mountains, the valleys of green. There's painted deserts, the sun sets on fire, and he carries me home to the Mull of Kintyre. Sweet through the heather, like deer in the glen, oh, carry me back to the days I knew then. Nights when we sang like a heavenly choir of the life and the times of the Mull of Kintyre. Just the high part. Mull of Kintyre, mist rolling in from the sea. My desires are Oh, more love can time. Smiles in the sunshine, tears in the rain, still take me back where my memories remain. Flickering embers, higher and higher as they carry me back to the Mull of Kintyre. You can sing the chorus with me if you can remember. Oh, Mull of Kintyre, mist rolling in from the sea. My desire is always to be here, Mull of Kintyre. Oh, Mull of Kintyre, oh, mist rolling in from the sea. My desire is always to be here, oh, Mull of Kintyre, Mull of Kintyre. There you go. Good luck.
Thank you, Governor. As a token of our appreciation for you taking your time, West Florence and Florence School District 1 wanted to give you this as our token of appreciation.
Thank you.